Your protein powder might be a chemical minefield in a fancy tub. With 70% of the market drowning in gut-wrecking fillers and literal heavy metals like lead, clean is a flat-out lie for most brands. Stop guessing about your gains and watch this video where I break down the protein powder brands you should avoid and the good ones. Let's begin with the ones you shouldn't put anywhere near your shaker bottle. Number 11, 6-Star Pro Nutrition Whey. You've probably grabbed this one because the price felt like a win. Big tub, big protein numbers, and budget-friendly. But the moment you flip the label, the story changes fast. The sweetness hits immediately, and it doesn't take long to realize where it's coming from. Sucralose and acesulfame potassium do the heavy lifting on flavor. They create an intense, candy-like taste that some people enjoy at first, but others describe as chemical or overly sharp after a few shakes. It's a common sign that the formula is compensating for lower-grade blends beneath. The texture tells another story. Cellulose gum, xanthan gum, and carrageenan are added to thicken the shake. That thickness can turn slimy or overly heavy, especially when mixed with water. You expect it to go down smooth, but what you get feels thick and artificially heavy. Solubility complaints have also repeatedly surfaced. Even with shaker bottles, clumps remain and settle at the bottom, no matter how hard you mix. Because it leans on whey concentrate, you're more likely to deal with bloating and gas, and it hits even harder if you're even slightly lactose sensitive. Add artificial fillers into the mix, and your stomach will rumble, loud enough to make you question every scoop you just took. Now let's step into a formula that costs more, but carries its own baggage. Number 10, muscle milk. If you're looking to lose weight or tighten up your body composition, this is where things start working against you instead of for you. One serving can range from 230 to nearly 300 calories. Add the extra fats, and the protein to calorie efficiency most people want starts to slip. You will first notice the problem during digestion. Because it's built from dairy proteins, whey, and casein, things can get rough if lactose isn't your friend. Bloating, gas, and even bathroom urgency can start showing up for you, especially if you use it daily, and its texture doesn't come naturally either. Emulsifiers, stabilizers, and thickeners are used to maintain the creamy consistency. What feels smooth going down is heavily engineered to feel that way. Then the sweetness kicks in. Sucralose and acesulfame potassium handle the flavor load. They've been associated with gut disruption and unwanted insulin responses when used regularly. Trace levels of heavy metals, including lead, cadmium, and arsenic, have been detected in some samples. And once you realize you're taking that in every single day, it stops feeling like a supplement and starts feeling like a slow risk you never signed up for. That alone should make you seriously reconsider using muscle milk as your daily protein source. Calories, fillers, and daily exposure risks stack up fast, and we're only getting started. If you want more no-nonsense breakdowns like this, hit subscribe now, because the next organic halo brand we're exposing isn't as clean as it looks. Number 9, Orgain Organic Protein Powder. The word organic printed across the tub does a lot of heavy lifting. It creates this instant sense of safety, like whatever's inside has already been cleared of the problems you're trying to avoid. Independent testing has detected trace amounts of heavy metals, including lead and cadmium, in Orgain Organic Protein Powder. And once you realize you're taking that in every single day, it starts feeling like a long-term gamble. Your stomach usually speaks up next. Erythritol and other sugar alcohols are used to keep calories low while maintaining sweetness. For some people, that trade-off leads to bloating, gas, and stomach discomfort that sets in hours after the shake. Texture isn't coming from whole food thickness either. Guar gum and xanthan gum are added to create that creamy consistency. Sunflower oil shows up in certain formulas too, another processed addition inside a product marketed as pure. There have also been voluntary recalls due to undeclared allergens such as peanuts and sesame. And once a product crosses that recall line, it's hard not to question how tight the quality control really is behind the scenes. While it looks like a clean upgrade, what you're actually drinking is much closer to processed than advertised. So the clean label isn't always as clean as it sounds. And the next tub shows that marketing language can be even more persuasive. Number 8, Quest Protein Powder. Keto branding makes this one feel like a precision tool. Low carb, high protein, and diet friendly. But once you flip the tub around and actually study what you're scooping daily, the cracks start showing fast. The sweetness is the first thing that hits you. Sucralose does most of the flavor work, and it doesn't hide. That sharp, lingering aftertaste many users talk about isn't just an imagination. It's a formula that relies heavily on artificial sweeteners to make processed proteins go down more easily. Because it's built on milk protein, isolate, and whey, bloating and gas are common. It worsens if your body no longer tolerates lactose well. What's sold as light on carbs can still feel heavy in your gut. Allergen exposure is another quiet risk. Dairy and soy are both in the formula, two of the most common triggers of food sensitivities. If your body reacts, you won't have to wait long to notice. Sodium levels run higher than many expect, which matters if you're watching blood pressure or water retention. And for the price you're paying daily, its micronutrient depth is thin. At some point, you've got to ask yourself, is this fueling progress or just packaging it better? Low carb doesn't automatically mean low risk. We now turn to the plant-based option, which you assume is safer. Number 7, Vega. That plant-based label makes it feel like you've stepped into the clean lane. No dairy, no whey, all green branding. It gives the impression you're doing your body and the planet a favor at the same time. But once you start using it daily, the experience doesn't always live up to the image. Digestion is where many people first feel it. High fiber blends combined with gums like xanthan or guar can have a strong effect on the gut. Gas, bloating, and even stomach cramping show up often, especially if your system isn't used to that fiber load in powdered form. Its texture tells another story. Plant proteins don't dissolve like whey, and you feel that difference. The shake can come off gritty or chalky with an afterfeel that doesn't disappear no matter how long you mix it. Then, there's the contamination conversation that keeps circling this category. Vega products have been flagged for trace amounts of heavy metals, including cadmium, lead, and arsenic. Some findings suggested levels that could push daily intake limits if consumed regularly. The brand has responded over time by adjusting its pea protein sourcing and even renaming certain formulas. But when a product reaches the point of settlements tied to allegations of heavy metal warnings, it makes you question how clean the formula really was. Plant-based branding can feel reassuring until sourcing realities are brought into the conversation, and the next powder wears trust even louder on its sleeve. Number 6, Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey. That black tub with the gold label carries a reputation that does a lot of the convincing before you even read the ingredient panel. The gold standard branding has been repeated so often that you assume purity without digging deeper. Digestion is usually where reality starts showing up. Even though the formula leans heavily on whey isolate, it still includes whey concentrate, so lactose hasn't been completely removed. Bloating, gas, and stomach cramps are common complaints, especially for anyone sensitive to dairy. That smooth, milkshake-style flavor doesn't happen naturally. It's engineered through sucralose, acesulfame potassium, and synthetic flavor blends. Yes, it works from a flavor standpoint, but it pushes the formula further into synthetic territory. Milk and soy are both present in the blend, raising allergen concerns from the outset for sensitive users. Then there's the broader discussion of contamination surrounding mainstream whey powders. Trace levels of heavy metals, such as lead, have been detected in several popular protein powders in this category, and this brand hasn't always been absent from those discussions. Factor in the premium price, and the so-called gold standard starts feeling more like hype you're funding than quality. Reputation can carry a product far, but it doesn't erase formulation questions. The price climbs from here, and so do the expectations. Number 5, Momentous 100% plant protein. Premium branding can be persuasive. The certification badges and athlete endorsements instantly frame it as elite-level fuel. Even the branding alone pushes the image of clean, high-performance nutrition before you read a single ingredient. But once you slow down and examine what you're actually getting per scoop, the shine starts fading. The price is the first reality check. This sits far above most plant proteins on the market, positioned as a high-performance formula. But paying a premium doesn't automatically eliminate risk, especially in the plant-based category. Heavy metal exposure is where the conversation gets uncomfortable. A January 2026 Consumer Reports analysis flagged older versions of this product for elevated lead levels. Some tests reportedly measured 400 to 600% above their concern threshold for daily consumption. The recommendation at the time was to limit use to once per week. The company has since stated that the tested formula has been discontinued and sourcing has been updated. For a consumer, that kind of history sticks. Protein yield runs lower too. While 20 grams of protein per serving is decent, it falls short of whey isolates, which offer 25 to 30 grams per scoop. While the label sells peak performance, the real-world experience is far more complex than premium. When premium pricing meets contamination headlines, confidence takes a hit. But what's coming next has faced even heavier scrutiny. Number 4, Garden of Life. This is the kind of brand you switch to when you're trying to avoid additives and synthetic blends. Ironically, it's also one that's faced some of the most uncomfortable scrutiny. Organic sourcing, raw ingredients, whole food positioning. It all sounds like you're fueling your body the natural way. But the deeper you dig, the more complicated that image becomes. Heavy metal exposure has been one of the biggest clouds hanging over the brand. Certain Garden of Life plant protein products have been flagged for elevated lead levels. A recent class action lawsuit even alleges that some formulas tested at levels as high as 564% of the recommended daily lead limit. Whether disputed or defended, that kind of number sticks in people's minds, especially when you're using it daily. Recalls haven't helped confidence either. Past incidents include undeclared soy allergens and product withdrawals tied to safety concerns. Once recalls enter the timeline, trust naturally takes a hit. Texture adds another barrier. Many users describe the shakes as gritty, earthy, and even dirt-like, compared to smoother whey blends. It's also priced higher than most mainstream options, but still carries contamination and tolerance concerns. At that point, the clean image starts clashing with a much messier reality behind the label. Organic, raw, whole food sounds perfect. But the reality behind the next one hits a completely different nerve. Number 3, Body Fortress Super Advanced Whey. Saving money feels good, especially when the tub looks big, the scoop looks heavy, and the label screams high protein. It feels like you just hacked the system. More servings, less cash, same gains. At least that's what it sells you. Then the first shake happens. You shake it hard, and the powder fights back. Clumps floating everywhere and grit sitting at the bottom. Even with a blender, it never fully smooths out. What should go down easy ends up feeling like you're drinking an unfinished mix. And its texture makes it even worse. It's chalky, slightly gritty, and sometimes thin tasting, yet oddly heavy in the mouth. Sweetness leans artificial too. Sucralose carries most of the flavor weight, and that chemical aftertaste sticks around longer than you want it to. This is where many people hit the breaking point. Whey concentrate brings higher lactose, and when that mixes with artificial fillers, bloating and cramps aren't rare. For some, it can lead to full stomach discomfort after regular use. Add the sodium and cholesterol load, and that budget-friendly protein starts looking a lot less cheap. Because once your body starts paying the price, the savings don't feel like savings anymore. Saving money is great, until the formula reminds you why it was cheap. Now, we move into a product marketed as complete nutrition. Number 2, Huel Black Edition. If you're trying to tighten your body and clean up your macros, Huel Black Edition looks like the perfect weapon, but once it becomes a daily habit, cracks start to show. For something marketed as clean performance fuel, it demands too many trade-offs to ignore. Texture is the first red flag. It's thick, but not smooth, more gritty than creamy. It feels beany, like powdered oats that never fully dissolved. Then, digestion pushes back. The aggressive protein load combined with heavy fiber often leads to routine bloating and gas. For many, this discomfort never actually goes away, and the struggle with the prep continues. A 90-gram serving is incredibly dense. Getting it smooth is a fight most don't expect from a premium product. Furthermore, certain flavors mask the caffeine in cocoa or coffee, leading to disrupted sleep or unexpected jitters. Most alarming is what's hidden inside. Like many plant-based formulas, heavy metals are a persistent shadow. Testing has shown that a single serving of Huel's Black Edition contains 6.3 micrograms of lead. While some claim this is within limits, daily consumption of lead and cadmium raises serious eyebrows. If you value long-term health over convenience, avoid this protein powder completely. Convenience and performance don't always go hand in hand, and what's sitting at the bottom of this list takes the risk conversation even further. Number 1. Naked nutrition. Imagine scooping your daily protein, and with it pulling in 7.7 micrograms of lead in a single serving. That's not spread across a full day of food. That's concentrated into one shake you're drinking on purpose. That number alone should make you pause. An October 2025 investigation flagged this formula as having the highest lead levels among those tested in its category. Not borderline, not minor, one of the highest. Lawsuit filings followed, accusing the brand of marketing itself as clean and premium, while carrying contamination risks consumers were never warned about. And this isn't something you brush off with "it meets safety limits." Heavy metals don't just pass through the body, they accumulate. Lead, cadmium, and arsenic are exposure risks you avoid where you can, not something you add daily through a supplement. And even the basic user experience doesn't redeem it. No filler sounds good until the shake turns frothy, clumpy, and difficult to drink. The taste is also flat, earthy, and hard to finish for many users. Now stack that on top of the premium price. You're paying more for contamination headlines, mixing struggles, and daily exposure risks. At that point, it stops being clean nutrition and starts being something you should seriously avoid altogether. After that lineup, it's easy to feel like protein powders are all compromise. But a few formulas still get it right, and that's where we're headed next. Number 3. Truvani. Plant-based simplicity. Ever flipped a protein tub around, read the ingredient list, and actually understood every single thing on it? No lab-made fillers, no chemical sweeteners, no 20-line paragraph pretending to be nutrition. That's the lane this one lives in. Simplicity you can recognize without a science degree. The formula is built on organic pea protein, backed by chia and pumpkin seed proteins, to round out the amino acid profile. That combination matters because plant proteins alone can lack balance. But this blend closes that gap well enough for muscle maintenance and recovery, delivering roughly 20 grams per serving. Sweetness doesn't come from sucralose, ACE-K, or sugar alcohols either. Monk fruit handles the flavor work here, which is why most users describe the taste as clean. Chocolate and vanilla reviews consistently rank high compared to other plant proteins. Ingredient integrity is where it really sets itself apart. It's formulated without soy, dairy, gums, fillers, or stevia, keeping the label as clean and transparent as it claims. Its texture feels naturally rich and plant-forward, just as you'd expect from minimally processed ingredients. And though it sits in the premium price tier, that cost reflects the sourcing and formulation standards behind it. If you value clean digestion and simple ingredients, this is one plant formula truly lives up to its safe and simple promise. Clean labels and simple sourcing set a strong tone. But the next one raises the bar even higher on testing and athletic trust. Number 2, Klean Athlete Clean Isolate. Some protein powders try to impress you with flavor, and others with size. But Klean Athlete Isolate takes a completely different route. It wins you over by staying clean, quiet, and extremely functional where it matters most. The formula is built on whey protein isolate, not concentrate, which already helps digestion run more smoothly. You're getting 20 grams of clean protein per serving, without the lactose load that usually causes bloating. For most users, it sits lightly, absorbs quickly, and supports recovery without gut discomfort. Certification is where it really locks in trust. The entire line is NSF certified for sport, meaning every batch is screened for banned substances and contaminants. That's why tested athletes widely use it. Ingredient-wise, it keeps things refreshingly simple. No artificial sweeteners, no artificial colors, and none of those unnecessary fillers you usually see packed into cheaper formulas. In real-world use, mixing performance gets high marks. It dissolves clean in smoothies, leaves no gritty residue, and doesn't hijack flavor. Yes, it sits in the premium price bracket. If you want tested purity and clean digestion, this is one of the most reliable whey isolates available. Certified purity and clean digestion are hard to beat. Still, one formula edges ahead when performance is factored in. Number 1, MuscleTech 100%. Most top protein powders earn their spots through branding and marketing, but MuscleTech is here because of its performance. Whether it's recovery, absorption, or muscle repair, it delivers. For every scoop, you're getting between 24 and 30 grams of whey protein, depending on the version. On top of that, you're getting over 5 grams of branched-chain amino acids. These are the ones your muscles rely on most after intense training. The filtration process matters too. It uses cold microfiltration, which removes excess fats and carbohydrates while preserving the amino profile. That means faster absorption and smoother digestion without the heavy afterfeel that cheaper blends leave behind. Some versions even push performance further. The original NitroTech adds about 3 grams of creatine monohydrate per scoop. It supports strength, power output, and endurance without the need for a separate supplement. If you prefer cleaner sourcing, the grass-fed whey option uses pasture-raised dairy with no artificial colors or flavors. Everything here is designed to drive muscle protein synthesis and accelerate recovery. It's made to boost real strength carryover, not just look good on the label. When performance, absorption, and formulation finally collide, you get this undisputed heavyweight champion of protein. We've reached the finish line, and now you know which protein powders help your body, and which quietly work against it. But what if your morning coffee is doing the same damage? Tap into 11 coffee brands you should stop drinking, and 3 that are safe, and see what's really brewing.